Hey everyone. So, taking my protein. Someone had asked me about when is the best time to exercise. And you know, I really told that person that, and they were a previous athlete from a while ago, but now middle-aged. It really depends on a couple of variables. I do not think that there is a specific area of the day or time of the day when the muscle responds better. So, to me, because I see a lot of people that have sleep disorder, or they just don't sleep long enough. So the objective is to look at other things that might coincide with the decision making. Number one, you have to figure out what the traffic is to get to your gym. Number two, you got to figure out the hours of your gym. I had a patient that was going to restart their exercise routine again, and I asked, where's the equipment in your house? And the patient said that it's in the bedroom. If there's options, I do not agree with exercising in the bedroom. I think that if you consider the Chinese concept of movement and placement in the room to improve energy, when you're supposed to sleep, it's totally different than when you're supposed to exercise. I just think that if you can get the equipment out of your room, you'd probably fare better. Now, there's no randomized controlled trials for that, but I'd rather have a dedicated place where you go to, you do your business, and you're done and out. Versus, okay, I'll sleep here now, or I'll exercise now. I just think sustainability, I'd have separate places. Then comes the idea about using treadmills and equipment at home, even if you have a big gym that's set up. Sustainability is the most important thing, so the majority of people that buy equipment, usually within 3 months, they get bored with it. And I've done videos before about being in one room, even though you're cranking out on the treadmill or you're using the elliptical, your brain still thinks it's in the same room. So no matter how you try to package that and think you're on a rolling hill trail, it will get boring. So at the most I say, okay, just use the machines for this allotment of time and then plan on what you're going to be doing when season breaks. So anyway, back to time of day. It is now 8 o'clock. I'm going to be seeing my first patient in a couple minutes, and the best time for me is actually in the morning. I was not a morning person, but I had no choice because can't exercise. I work 12 hours. If I were to exercise after work, it would be 6 or 7 p.m. The pump that I get at 6 or 7 p.m., even though I do a high-intensity interval training, I'm done in 30 minutes, that would still screw up my sleep. As I try to relax at 8 or 9 p.m., I'd be on fire as far as my endorphins. So I've done that before. It doesn't work. Plus the shifting of fluid out of the muscle group into the blood vessels and then out into make me pee, it would make me wake up all night. So tried that, didn't do it. Although I can get pumped up and get pretty decent cardiovascular if I exercise at night, it just screws up my sleep. So for those of you who have a sleep disorder, I wouldn't do it after 6 p.m. 4 o'clock maybe. If you have no choice and you have to do it, fine, but watch my video on cooling down. End your exercise with mindfulness practice, isometric exercise, maybe yoga breathing, and hopefully you'll be able to change around the amount of endorphin and serotonin and smooth that so it doesn't affect you during your sleep hours. So how do we shift that into a morning exercise routine? The objective there is, and I just laid this out for a patient of mine, plan on being extremely exhausted for the first 2 weeks of resetting your clock. If you can deal with that, and don't be doing any heavy lifting during that time because you'll get injured. As your body starts to reawaken and reset its rhythm, it will not turn on muscle groups quick enough. Your reflexes will be a little slow. Muscles might not respond properly, and you will be fatigued. But if you start to do your heavy lifting, even if you're an athlete, you know what to do, you might injure yourself. For the first 2 to 3 weeks, perhaps, just get to the action of resetting your rhythm, getting into the car, having your coffee or your tea, getting to the gym, going through the motions of machine to machine, maybe not to 100%, but and then finishing up, getting to work. If you do that for about 2 to 3 weeks, it'll reinforce that resetting of your clock. I've done videos on how to reset your clock if you're, say, coming back from a trip, an airplane trip, or vacation, if you want to get back into the rhythm fast, there's ways to do that. If you have a sleep disorder, there's also ways to do that. If your cortisol is kind of low, there's ways to do that. But this video is more for the exercise component of how to shift your exercise to possibly morning. But really, I just want to say that works for me, because I might have a little sleep disorder. I have no other time to exercise, and that works for me. I can take any knowledge or experience that muscle has with me and shift it to any part of the day. So the bottom line is that it does not matter what time of the day you exercise. You can still apply a lot of exercise. You can still apply a lot of force. You can still apply a lot of movement. It all depends on those variables as far as having a sleep disorder. Or one other thing is, if your gym is packed at 4 or 5 p.m. and it takes you twice as long to exercise, you're wasting time. As I mentioned in other videos, when I was 20, I'd spend 2 hours in the gym. I am 54. I don't have that kind of luxury now, so I really have to condense it. Thus the reason for high-intensity interval training, or getting there in the morning when it's kind of just a ghost town, so I can speed up my exercises. So that's another consideration. As far as what to do with the food part, there's a lot of studies now out of McMaster University in Canada that say as long as you get the protein in you within 3 to 6 hours of your exercise routine, you will not break down muscle too much, or you'll rebuild it faster. So I'll try to put a link to the study, but that's why, again, I do protein in the morning, do mostly dominant protein at lunch, and then more carbohydrate dominant meals in the evening to help me sleep. So I do not think that working out in the morning when you're tired will affect rebuilding a muscle. It just depends on how long it takes you to reprogram or reset your circadian rhythm. Once you get into the rhythm of things, now you're going to have to go to sleep early, and if you're in your 20s and 30s, you're going to miss out on a lot of things at night that other people do. But you have to really set your priorities. What do you want to do? Do you want to exercise, get pumped, or get a good cardiovascular routine, or get set for a big endeavor or summit, or do you want to socialize? So you have to just set your priorities, but don't worry about working out in the morning, working out in the evening. It really depends on how your body adapts to the scheduling, getting good sleep, eating properly, and also rebuilding and seeing if it affects the rest of your lifestyle or those around you. If you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe to me for weekly words of wisdom.